Hello. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Danielle, and today I'll be sharing my thoughts on the Kobo Libra color. After 2 months with it, I'm ready to dive into my likes and dislikes, especially now when so many people are looking into e-readers other than Kindle. The Kobo currently retails for $229. It has a 7-inch e-ink Kaleido 3 display. It has 32 gigabytes of storage, USB-C charging, and it's waterproof for up to 60 minutes in 2 meters of water. One thing that I'm not a huge fan of is the reset screen. The way the lint and crumbs when I'm snacking get stuck in there irritates my soul. What I do absolutely love are the page turn buttons and the fact that the power button is located on the back. The USB-C charging port is on the side here. As far as the build overall, I don't love the plastic that this is made of. While I'm sure it's a solid device, it doesn't feel as sturdy as some of my other ones. I love that the book cover of your recent read is a default setting right outside the box. I also enjoy seeing the percentage red while the device is sleeping. For library books, it's supposed to also show when the loan is expiring. That unfortunately doesn't always work for me. Simple things like being able to use the page turn button to wake up the device really makes me happy. I also really love the clean look of Kobo's UI. Instead of being bombarded with a bunch of new books to download on your homepage, you have the books that you recently opened, your My Books that is basically your library and it only shows 3 options, and the library options on the bottom where you can borrow ebooks and see the books that you've already placed on hold. The menu on the bottom makes it super easy to navigate the Kobo. My Books will take you to your library where you'll have a full view of all of the books you currently have. I really love being able to see all of the covers of my books in color. I think the Kobo does color pretty decent. There is a tab that takes you to your notebooks. I don't really use this feature much. Next, you have the Discover tab where you can browse for new books. In the ebook category, I really like how it's split up with the recommended section. You have the daily ebook deal, which surprisingly, I did find a couple of books that I went ahead and purchased. And you have your wish list. I can't stress enough how much I really do enjoy and love that the Kobo UI isn't so cluttered. You also have the Kobo Plus category, which is a subscription similar to Kindle Unlimited. Even though I love my Kobo, I can't leave Kindle because the Kobo Plus catalog isn't that great and doesn't have indie authors that I love and support. Having Overdrive on the Kobo really makes it stand out. From the Overdrive category, you can see your current holds, books that were just added to the library, and of course you can scroll through the different sections. The process of checking out an ebook is pretty straightforward while in Overdrive. Just find the book you want and if it's available, choose borrow. It's really as simple as that. Now you don't need to be in Overdrive to borrow a book or place a hold. You can do this from the Discover page while browsing the Kobo store. Pulling up my wish list, I'm going to choose a book that I want to see if it's available to borrow by clicking these 3 dots. If it isn't ready to borrow, just select place hold. You can do this for ebooks and audiobooks. Even if you're new to e-readers or you're coming from another device, the Kobo is really easy to learn. Going to my books, you see the book we borrowed is there. If you're ready to return a book, just long hold to bring up the menu and choose return. To get the cover out of your library, just long hold again and choose remove. I love having Overdrive here and not needing a separate app to send it to my device. I can handle all of my digital library needs right here. It's just a game changer. A feature I didn't know that I needed in my life is being able to adjust the brightness while reading by just scrolling up and down on the left side of the Kobo. Be mindful of the margins because if it's too close, you might accidentally highlight. At the very bottom, there's a progress bar, which I think is a nice addition. As you can see here, I have the percentage red at the bottom, but typically I prefer seeing the page that I'm on, but not on the Kobo. And let me show you why. To change the footer options, tap the screen and go to the gear tool, not the font menu like I did here. Tap footer or header if you prefer and select pages left in the book, then exit out of there. As you can see, it says 13 of 988 pages. Now I know this book is not almost 1,000 pages. Listen, I understand that it's based on the font size and all of that, but I don't like that. I'd rather swipe 20 times on a Kindle and be on the same page than to see this. Let me know how you feel in the comments. The auto rotate on the Kobo allows you to read in portrait mode or landscape mode. You can lock this feature so it doesn't rotate if that's what you prefer. Aside from adjusting the brightness by swiping the side, you can also adjust from the top menu. Here you can adjust the warmth as well and set a timer. I was a little confused why the dark mode option wasn't a part of this menu. It didn't make much sense to me. Tapping the gear tool is where you'll find the option to turn the page into dark mode. It'll only be in dark mode while reading. Everything else will remain in light mode, so if you exit out of the book or as you can see the menu is still in light mode. Other ways to customize your reading experience is by tapping the letter A at the top, where you can select the font type that you want, the font size, line spacing, and margins. I forgot to show this, but pinching in or out on the page will also adjust the font size. A really cool feature that I like is the activity option in your current read. This is where you'll be able to see an overview of where you are in the book, how much time you have left, and it's all based on your reading speed. There are a few other things you're able to do from within the book, like write a review, see the book details, and access the dictionary. Now, on to the best part. One of the main reasons I like color e-readers is because I'm able to highlight in different colors. I love annotating my physical books, but I prefer reading digitally. Merging my love for annotating into my love for ebooks is the sole reason I purchased the Kobo. And I am happy to say that for the most part, with the exceptions of some little quirks, I am absolutely in love with it. You can type out notes and easily edit them if you need to. It's also super simple to delete an annotation you no longer want. All of this is honestly pretty straightforward. Now, let's talk a little bit about the stylus. I'm using the Kobo brand that's about $70, but there are plenty of less expensive ones that work great. It comes in white and black, just like the Kobos. The button on it is what you hold down when you want to highlight. The gray part at the end is your eraser, and there's a USB-C port to charge it. It is magnetic, so it attaches to your Kobo easily. The magnets are pretty strong, but depending on the case that you use, it may not attach as well. While I was doing my research to see if I wanted to get the Kobo, I was watching a bunch of reviews where a lot of people said they weren't annotating as much as they thought they would. Not me. I've literally been using the hell out of these pens. I'm talking writing notes to these characters like they about to write me back. The eraser will erase an entire stroke, so if you make a line too long and you want to shorten it, you'll just have to draw the whole thing over. Also, there is some refreshing that happens after you erase, so don't be alarmed. You can also change the weight of the writing, so how thick your writing is and the color that you write in. I was really happy to see that there were more color options for the pen than the highlighter. A major issue that I have with the Kobo is not being able to filter by highlight color. I annotate with a purpose. Usually it's so I don't have to reread a book to continue on with the series, so I can easily refer back to certain parts like world building and important events. Also look back on my highlights for descriptions and favorite quotes when I'm filling in my reading journal. I have an entire highlighting system for this reason. While you can filter by highlight, you cannot break it down further by color. What further pisses me off about this is that I am able to do it via the Kobo app on my iPad mini. So what is the reason, Kobo? Why can't I do it on the actual Kobo device? So as a workaround, I figured I'd do the same thing that I do if I'm highlighting on an e-reader that's not in color. I just type a keyword in my notes so I can search my annotation and filter it that way. Except on the Kobo, it'll search every book and I literally don't have time for that. I've only done this system for 2 books, but imagine if I did most of my reading on the Kobo and used this system. That's just way too much effort. I didn't realize how heavily I relied on something as simple as searching my annotations until it was taken away. On my Kindle, I can easily search within the book that I'm currently in for my keywords and filter them further by my highlights and annotation. Some won't get it and think that it's not a big deal, but it's important to me, so whatever. I read a decent amount of manga and graphic novels. The experience so far has been pretty good. There is some ghosting, but it hasn't been to the point where it's irritating. You can play around with the refresh settings to help with that. The Kobo does color very well in my opinion. I did return my color soft because after the 3rd replacement I just had to give up, so I can't show you the comparison. I do think the color soft does blacks and darker colors a little better and the words are a little bit more crisp, while the Kobo does reds and oranges way better. The Kobo also does a great job on showing the little details in the artwork. You can zoom in and out of the different panels to make reading the words a little better. Pulling down from the top of the screen will bring up your most recently opened books. You can click on one to take you to it. While I love the activity feature for individual books, I don't love it so much for tracking your reading as a whole. Here it says I finished 5 books. When you finish a book on a Kobo and go to reopen it again, it'll bring you back to the beginning. So once you go back to see your activity, you'll notice that it'll show you've read 1 less book. I reopen my books all the time, mostly from my annotations, but even if you're going to reread a book, I can understand maybe it not counting it twice, but deducting a book is diabolical. If you're relying on this to track, just be mindful of this. Now, a feature that I enjoy in the Kobo is being able to sign into Dropbox and Google Drive so you can add in books and documents. I wanted to test if my reading journal would work and I was shocked that it actually did. Even the hyperlinks. Now listen, I wouldn't recommend adding my particular journal on the Kobo. It's just way too many hyperlinks and just a pretty large file, so it'll run super slow and you won't be able to use it till its full capabilities without a bunch of added steps like connecting it to a computer to get your book covers and images on it. But I did see some journals on Etsy specifically specifically for the Kobo that look really cool if you're interested, and no y'all, I will not be making one. If you're like me, then you probably enjoy listening to a good audiobook, so I'm happy to say that you can connect those headphones through Bluetooth. It's your standard pairing process that you go through on most devices. My daughter randomly changed my name to Toes for whatever reason. I forgot about that, but I wasn't about to go change it and re-record it. In fact, as we speak, I'm still Toes. The Kobo is a great device that has quickly become one of my favorite e-readers. Like anything, there are some pros and cons. I wanted the Kobo for the annotating, and I'm extremely happy with it. There are moments where it glitches. Sometimes the palm rejection is just non-existent. I accidentally erased the highlighter when I only want to erase the handwriting, and ghosting randomly occurs. But there's just way more to love, especially the overall UI of the Kobo. I just love how simple and clean it is. I wouldn't go as far as to say it'll replace my Kindle, because while the indie authors I love are locked in with Kindle, then I will be too. For all other reads, I will be using Kobo, so my library and traditionally published books I'll probably purchase through Kobo. I am on a mission to try more e-readers, so to keep up with my bookish tech thoughts, be sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Bye.